Well, this shirt is quite damp, so I needed to swap it out. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Happy early Halloween.
Yes.
How are we feeling this October, I wonder? I'm feeling pretty good. I'm doing good. I've done 31 costumes in 31 days so far.
Ambitious.
And we're on like day 15.
I wore cardigans before they were cool.
I like it. I like it. If you are listening and not watching, you're very confused right now. But if you are watching, you're in for a treat because I've decided to be weird today. I don't know how that's different.
Right. We are
than any other
in
day.
the restroom.
We are in this very, subtle and sedate bathroom that is tastefully decorated with like mature decor.
And dino potty.
Yeah, and Dinosaur Potty School. We are at the Dinosaur Potty School today, coming to you live. We are Therapy Unlocked, here to unlock the mind one conversation at a time. I am Final Girl M, and this is my incredibly qualified co-host. Take it away.
Licensed professional counselor, licensed mental health counselor, licensed practice in the state of Oklahoma and Massachusetts, and I'm a professional, but not your professional, so nothing we're talking about taking us like medical leave as advice. This podcast field for what?
Slow it down. You are a professional, but you are not my professional.
Right. Podcast is purely for education and amusement. That is it.
Education and amusement. Absolutely
I mean, she
not.
would like to be famous, not me. Her.
It is not medical advice, and I would like to be famous. If you guys could just, if you don't mind, no, actually, one of my dear friends on the TikTok, who I met while I was doing the whole live streaming thing, recently said to me that he is convinced that all of his friends are famous. They just have not been discovered yet. And then he told me that he had gotten that mindset from me. And I'm like, say what? What are you talking about? And then I realized, that's true. I kind of do have that mindset. When somebody is fantastic, amazing, I'm certain that they're going to make it to notoriety, right? Like I told one of my daughter's people the other day, I was like, well, when she wins the Nobel Prize, not if she wins the Nobel Prize.
You know what makes me feel like I've made it though? And it's total like anonymously, but I know I've made it because I've been quoted in magazines, totally anonymously, but anonymously quoted. And that is enough for me.
I like that. I waffle back and forth between hating. See, here's what I like about quote unquote fame is that you can control people's perception of you to a certain extent. You put out, for the most part, what you want people to perceive. And some of the joy for me comes in people perceiving the vision that I want them to perceive. If I post a creepy video and they are creeped out, I am delighted. If I post a funny video and they, are laughing about it, then I am pleased. Now, if I post a creepy video and they're laughing at it, I'm a little less pleased, but I still want to be famous, so I leave it up there.
That's an example of not all manipulation is bad.
Oh, interesting. I would like to talk about some bad manipulation today, if you're open to it.
Because he mentioned like change and stuff. Some things are not changeable. One of the things that is not changeable is how we are born, and that is like our sexual orientation, whether or not we're like feeling like a girl or a boy. Those are things that we're just born with. And so I'll specifically talk about conversion therapy as being ineffective, intragenic, and not a useful treatment for changing gay people. In fact, I would argue that you don't need to change gay people. There's nothing wrong with us. We're just fine as we are. And so there's this thing going around right now in the Supreme Court where they're hearing oral arguments for conversion therapy. It's Charles v. Salazar, and they heard, I want to say it was like on the 6th or the 7th, the oral arguments, where essentially the lawyer was arguing that we're in free speech land in a clinical setting where a therapist is working with a child, because this pertains to children out of Colorado,
Okay.
And they're trying to say that we're in free speech land when we're having a conversation. And for those of you who can't see, I'm using air quotes because it is not a conversation. When you're in the room with a clinician, what we're doing now is a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
When we're in the room with a clinician and it's a therapeutic relationship, that is a medical treatment. And in the SCOTUS argument, Supreme Court of the United States, in the SCOTUS argument, they were trying to say that because we're not using a scalpel, we're not engaging in conduct.
Oh, okay. So I guess like your podiatrist is not like, when I go see my internalist because I have strep throat, that's not medical advice. If I am, heading to the ear, nose, and throat doctor to talk about my allergies, the allergist to talk about my allergies. On none of those occasions is a scalpel involved. In fact, the majority of my medical appointments involve no one physically touching my body at all.
Well, see, and the fun fact, too, is that it's not just that we are engaging in conduct. We are adhering to medical practices. We are bound by the ethics of the American Counseling Association and American Psychological Association, those things. We're bound by the ethics and laws of our profession. And so we're like, to do no harm, I guess is what I'm trying to get at, is we're bound to do no harm. And conversion therapy has been proven to cause harm. It's intragenic, meaning it causes harm.
Hold on. Go back. So they're trying to bring conversion therapy back because as far as I knew, they weren't even doing conversion therapies anymore because you can't change someone's...
You have a common misconception that a lot of people do is that it's coming back. It never went away. It never, ever went away. It's only been banned in about 23 of our 50 states. And the current ban in Colorado is what they're trying to reverse in the Supreme Court. So if they ban the ban, they make it legal in all 50 states to do conversion therapy. So it is still legal in many of our 50 states.
Oh, wow.
And I have had to apologize on behalf of our profession when I get people who have survived conversion therapy, because at best it's ineffective, and at worst they don't make it to my office because they're unalive. But the people who survive and make it to my office, I'm like, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Let's get to work.
Essentially, they are handing out... I hate to say it like this, but they are handing out suicidal ideations.
Well, there's a stigma. There's a stigma to therapy still, that there are broken people that go to therapy, and it's really the emotionally intelligent that go to therapy. The people who there are nothing wrong with them that go to therapy to gain insight and perspective and how to better themselves and change their behavior and engage in the world in the way that they prefer. People who are in denial don't go to therapy.
No joke. Or there is a small subset of people that go to therapy to learn how to manipulate you better. And we'll talk about that another time. But that said, there's a group of those. I don't want to make a blanket statement. Not everyone who goes to therapy is emotionally intelligent.
There is the weaponization of psychological terms such as gaslighting, right? That's a big buzzword. But conversion therapy is one of those pseudoscientific things that they're trying to, whoa, that water splashed in my eyeball. You're good.
I'm sorry.
You're good. That was funny, though. I'm wearing waterproof mascara. It's all good.
I'm going to paint my face like...
But essentially, they're trying to portray that conversation as a willing conversation between people who are saying, I would like to identify and process my thoughts and feelings about this unwanted same-sexual attraction. And the reality is, you're talking about under the age of 10-year-olds who don't even know what they like yet. Why are you talking to them about changing who they like?
Yeah, I mean, that's a considerable thing to think of in this, is at what age are they talking about putting children into conversion therapy? Because personally,
minors, they're talking about minors.
I can think of so many children that I knew and grew up with that identified or consider themselves to be one sexual orientation, and now they are married to the other gender, or maybe even are a different gender.
Things are fluid and fluctuate, and
people change. Shocker. people change. They are supposed to.
It'd be weird. Like if I just turned 37 not too many days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember back when I was 27, I had just hit adolescence. Yes, I was in my private practice. I was running my business and doing my thing. But if I was the same person at 27 that I am at 37, I would be not a good person. And I don't mean that I was a bad person at 27. I just mean that I wouldn't have the growth.
No, but growth. I mean, I'm not saying I was a bad person at 27. I am saying that I'd like to sit down and talk to her about some of her choices. Like, you know, she didn't always make the best choices. And I feel like we could work it out. We could do better. You know. No, I don't know. And the brain's not even fully developed at that time. Can you tell me a little bit more about the impact of conversion therapy on?
Sure. It can cause harm. It can cause things like anxiety. It can cause things like depression. And it could even be causing of like, I don't know specifically what, but maybe sometimes it can cause substance use disorders. Because if somebody is hating their internal self so much and they're trying to, like, for example, pray away the gay and they can't because... Hello, born that way. Right. Lady Gaga said it best.
Right. We've already figured out that you can't do that, guys.
And there are many, many studies that are trying to be touted as irreputable and inconclusive. And that is the studies that they're referred to in the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court, they basically try to say these studies don't count because they were self-report. Oh. And so because they were self-report...
Like most?
Well, yeah, most studies are. But there's a specific way to do quantitative research that can minimize the amount of self-report bias that you can get. You're going to get bias no matter what. When you're doing qualitative research for the social sciences, like, it's hard not to. Like, when I did my research for my thesis, which I think is relevant now. My thesis when I was in college was gay, lesbian, and bisexual service members in the military. Does it affect morale? Hey, guess what? No, it doesn't. My hypothesis was that it does not affect morale. My bias was that I was usually only getting the Navy people because I was in the Navy. I had a few friends in the Army, so maybe I got a few friends there. I was also rejected by a few commanding officers to administer my survey because I watched this one commanding officer shrink in his seat the minute I said, "Can I administer a survey regarding gay, lesbian, bisexual?" And he just like shrunk in his seat. Mm-hmm. He was so uncomfortable.
Could you not?
He was like, no, you can't do that.
He's like, no, maybe not. Could you maybe not?
So I did have the bias of being only in that branch of the military. I didn't get a good sample size, I would say.
Yeah. I would say though that that's a no-brainer. I mean, for anybody with just some general knowledge of the way people are now. I'm so sorry. I truly, until you said something about it, I didn't even know people were still. How many conversion therapy places are active at this point in time?
Oh, a lot. And in Oklahoma, more than you would imagine. Basically,
wow.
If they have Christian counseling on their shingles, they probably have somebody in their practice who will allow you to talk about your thoughts and feelings about not wanting to be with the same sex or not wanting to be with the gender dysphoria that you've been experiencing. And that's not to say that you can't identify and process your thoughts and feelings in therapy. That's literally what it is. But they're taking that therapy speak and spinning it. They're spinning the therapy speak of identifying and processing thoughts and feelings and spinning it as if this is a conversation to heal you from an affliction. Oh. And the thing is, there is nothing afflicted. There's nothing afflicted about your sexual orientation.
Yeah, you're not afflicted with anything.
If you are straight and you want to become a homosexual, no, that is not something we can do.
Wow.
And why you think that would work the other way around, I don't know.
That's so funny. I like how you reprimanded the hypothetical straight that wanted to become gay. Like, no, if you're straight and you want to become gay, I have great news.
No.
Well, if you're straight and you want to become gay,
Good luck with that.
no, I have great news. You're not straight. You want to be gay.
That's all the time we have for today on Therapy Unlocked. Please join us next time as we continue the conversation. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us as we continue the journey to unlock the mind, one conversation at a time.
I talk about today should be taken as medical, legal, or otherwise advice. This podcast is purely for education and amusement and is a festive disclaimer.